welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. So it's been a while since I made an episode. It might not be such a long time since I uploaded a video, but okay, well firstly, you notice I have a ton of flights in progress. I made a ton, basically in the past week or two that I haven't made any videos. I uploaded some reserves when I wasn't making them, and was basically because I was just doing a ton of tests. So I'd like to show you what I've been doing through the tracking station. So did a ton of tests just to get like 50 more science. Well, actually, shouldn't really be talking about this. Okay, yeah. So so firstly, I have tons of probes in orbit. Oh, okay. So firstly, I have tons of probes in orbit, and this is because I had probes that were in orbit that I then launched. I made rockets that had probes connected to them, and as test launches, I launched them into orbit. And then I decided to deorbit all of my rockets, or most of my rockets that are no longer adequately functional in space, because I don't really need them. There were like two that I deorbited that I could have used, but it wasn't really necessary. But I left all the probes on the ships in orbit because I figured, why bring the probes back for no reason when I can just have a ton in orbit? It's not going to be much of an issue, you know. So you can see one of them I tried to get to Moho, but it just took way too long, and also I kind of got messed up by pointing it towards the sun, but the panel was straight on top of it, so it wouldn't pick up anything. And then there's another one here that I tried to get towards the jewel, but it just took way too long because I had to burn at night, so there was no point in that. And so basically, what I was planning on doing, and what I have done a little bit, and what I'm starting to do, is I'm going to send missions to all the other planets. I'm going to first do a mission without sound, so I'm going to record it without sound, and it's going to be up in the corner showing you if I get there successfully, then I'll just go into orbit around it. If I try to land and I die, I'll still show you it, stuff like that. But it'll be up in the corner of the screen up here, while I would show you guys what the I would show you the current one, a revised version of the rocket that is going there now. So basically, I decided to not do a one to get ready to go without sound, because it's the last day of my vacation, so I figured I should make an episode or two. So let's show you the rocket. I've worked on a couple of rockets, but I think I only have one new one here. I might have two. I'll go through them. I'll go through all of them, actually. So the first one we have is the Boron. This rocket I made a while ago to try and get off of Eve, and then I realized that Eve doesn't have an oxygenated atmosphere. So it works on Lathe. It also works on Kerbin. It works quite well. And you might be like, oh no, you're cheating because you have allow part clipping in editors. So I need to talk about that. I might have said this before. I think I have. I allow part clipping in editors because I feel like they are important. It's important to have, because in real life you wouldn't just be like, oh no, these two metal beams can't go together because we can't cut them in half and stick them together, because that's impossible. Well, you can do that. So why shouldn't you be able to do that in Kerbal Space Program? You know? So if you guys think it's an issue, you don't have to watch my videos if that's such a big difference. I'm hardly ever going to use allow part clipping. I use it for air breathing engines. I sometimes use it for wings and struts and fuel ducts, but that's really it. yeah, like I won't take an engine and put it inside a fuel tank or anything like that. Even though I think you can do it with the nuclear ones without part clipping allowed. But so basically, this works pretty well. How it works is all 6 air-breathing engines run on these 2 jet fuel, and these jet fuel pump into the rocket ones to keep the liquid fuel equalized with the oxidizer. So then I eject off these outer stages. These still have some liquid fuel left if I want, and then I can detach the engines and underneath our rocket or our LV909s, and those will turn on using this jet fuel or oxidizer fuel, and I can turn on the center one, which also uses the outer fuel. The center one is an LV45. So that's really that for that. I don't have a science bay. This isn't that great because I didn't put on like any science equipment yet. So you might be wondering. So let me show you the others actually first before I tell you the next thing. So I'm gonna skip copper because that's the last thing I'm gonna show you. Here's the gallium. I recorded an episode involving the gallium and we went to Dres, but unsuccessfully. I got a probe in orbit because the gallium has a probe on it. You can see it's a Wolfram launch stage, and this is actually lighter than the Wolfram thing. I was even able to put a 0.95 ton probe on it and a mystery goo container. It's no return, as you can see, so no parachutes whatsoever. This is meant to be to begin a base, basically. Basically. So I'll show you this probe. This probe I named the Neon, and you can see it's got 2 antennae. It's got one gigantor solar panel. It's got thermometer, barometer, gravitometer, and accelerometer. It's got 4 PBX50s. Even though that says PBXF01, I'm pretty sure it's a PBX50R. Yeah, see, PBX50R, and yet it says PBXF01. I don't know, maybe that's going to be the new name. Maybe that was the old name. I don't know why they could counter. I don't know. And an ion engine, of course, because these are xenon containers. So, this weighs 0.95 tons. It's not that heavy. I could put on a single antenna, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference. It will turn it into 0.9 tons, which I guess makes a difference in the long run, but it's kind of, I don't know, I don't know how I would put a single one on there without counterbalancing it. With counterbalancing it. So, this is really it for the gallium. Like I said, I sent this to Dres, and I couldn't get an orbit around Dres, so I detached the probe, and the probe got an orbit around Dres. It doesn't have enough for us to land. So I got an orbit around Dres, but the gallium kind of went on escape trajectory from Dres, and now it's just an orbit around the sun. I forget who's in it. So the next one I'll show you is, these potassium ones I'm gonna make as a docking port because I'm gonna start a docking station soon. So I'll show you this one. Potassium 38, I believe, is my. I'm not sure which one this is. So these are not final ones. So this is going to be the potassium thing. You can see this launch is kind of strange. It's asparagus, but these outer ones don't have any thrust vectors. Like I said, this is a very early kind of style. I'm not using the Rockamax stuff though for my non-docking station yet. I kind of just like non-Rockamax stuff. These seem way too large for me. I don't know. this works pretty well. It doesn't work perfectly yet, so like I said, it's not a final draft. This is our observatory station, and then Potassium 39 is the hub central. I need to still add battery packs in it, but I don't have the science for the large battery packs yet. You know, the 4K battery packs. So, that's that. And this thing, this probe, when I detach it, and I turn on these SRVs to deorbit it, but if I went prograde, I checked, and it gives me about 2 kilometers per second delta V in about 3 seconds, I believe. It's ridiculous. So, I'm gonna load now. You already seen the Wolfram. I don't think I've updated it really. This is the copper. Let me show you the copper. This one I'm gonna be using a lot from now on. This is a lander, basically. It's a return lander, yes. It doesn't have to be a return lander. It can be a space lander. So I'll show you this. So I'll start from the bottom up to the launch stage. So you can see we've got 16 SRBs. They launch. So that's okay, I guess. This gets me to about 3 kilometers at 100 meters, 150 meters per second, maybe even 200. And then I turn on these 4 LV30s and these 4 LV45s. And these two drain, then these two drain. You can see I have the couplers every stage. Then these two drain, then these two, 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 and then these two, and this falls off. And then these two, and then these two, and these two, and then these two and those two engines fall off, and then these two and those two engines fall off. Or actually, no, these two and all 4 engines fall off, and then these two and the nuclear engine turns on. So then I have 6 fuel tanks with 1 nuclear engine, and then these 2 outer ones turn off, or eject, and then these 2 run out of fuel. This one and that one over there. They run out of, this one. They run out of fuel, and then, but the engine still gets power from this one, or fuel from this one. So if my probes aren't connected, then I can eject it. But if they are connected, then it still has power to thrust to run on. And then these 2 go off, and then I'm kind of done. Well, the nuclear engine comes off when I'm landing. So that these are Rockomax 48 engines. They're the highest thrust to weight ratio of 300. The next one is the mainsail of 250. So 300 thrust to weight ratio is ridiculous. Oh, sorry, thrust to mass ratio. I don't use thrust to weight ratio because the gravity changes and therefore does the weight. The mass doesn't. So you just divide it by about 10 and then you got your thrust to weight ratio on Kerbal. And so I think now we're going to fly this rocket. Well, actually, no. We're going to go to the R&D center, and I'll show you what we've what I've gotten off screen. So you can see I've got considerable amount of science. From when I went to Dres, I got, I think, 1,500 science. So now all I have left is to get 4,400 science to unlock the mainsail and the jumbo, all these little tiny things, which I'm probably going to end up using for like rovers and stuff soon. Space shuttle and this nose cone. So what else? Toroidal aerospike, that's awesome. A bit more probes. I would like to begin using the remote guidance unit, the 1 meter. I probably won't use the Rockomax one though. We got this is the 4K battery bank, which I want for my space station. And we have thermoelectric generators, which I would like to put on my probes that I'm going to bring to Jool. But I don't have to, I guess. We have, and then the next two rovers. These wheels are like ridiculously good. If you look at how good they are, it's ridiculous. Because they only use 0.7, they get a max, and it's crazy. And they're like better than even the pro wheels and the normal wheels. It's ridiculous how much better than these two they are. This one right here, ruggedized vehicular wheel. I don't know if that's new or I just never used it, or maybe I have used it and I'm just forgetting about it. But without further ado, let's go bring the copper to Jool. Oh, and look at this. We have Jebediah. They brought all them back. Or a lot of them back. So let's launch Jebediah. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1...